This documentary will haunt me for the rest of my life, but it also happens to be one of my favorites. It's called Paradise Lost, and it details the horrific crime of the murder of 3 8-year-old boys in West Memphis, Arkansas. Like, the crime scene is shown in it, and it's horrifying. It happened in 1993 in a small, deeply religious town. So what did they do? They blamed it on goth teenagers. Reminder, I cover a lot of dark stuff on this page, so viewer discretion is advised, but follow along if you want to hear more. This documentary is called Paradise Lost, and it features these 3 goth teenagers in question, who they called the West Memphis 3. And it's one of the clearest examples we have of a modern-day witch hunt. Like I said, they show the crime scene in this documentary, and it's so depraved that people in the community assumed that the only explanation was that it was the work of the devil.
Christopher never hurt anybody. He had a gentle, loving, and giving heart. And they crucified him in those woods.
The police were under immense pressure to solve the case quickly, so they leaned into the idea of satanic ritualistic killings. So they found themselves asking who could be the local devil worshippers, and it was these kids. These are what they refer to as the West Memphis 3. Damien Eccles became their primary target because he was pretty open about the fact that he liked horror novels, heavy metal music, and he wore black and liked astrology. And by that logic, I'd be a suspect. There's no physical evidence, by the way.
Participated in any type of human sacrifice?
No, I have not.
Jason Baldwin was implicated because he was Damien Eccles' friend, and Jesse Miskelly Jr. was like an acquaintance of theirs. The authorities also exploited him. He had a reportedly low IQ, and they put him through a highly suspect 12-hour interrogation without a parent or lawyer present. It also resulted in him giving a fragmented, incoherent confession, which many consider to be a false confession. But the prosecution relied heavily on that confession, and they all went to prison. Jesse Miskelly and Jason Baldwin were sentenced to life in prison without parole, and Damien Eccles was sentenced to death. This documentary also sparked outrage, especially to people who have ever felt like outliers of society. 2 additional movies were made after this, following the West Memphis 3 fighting for their freedom and their lives. This documentary exposes how fear, bias, and media can affect public opinion, and how these 3 were scapegoated and turned into the perfect villain despite no evidence tying them to the crime. I'll leave you with this.
Jesse Miskelly Jr., Jason Baldwin, Damien Eccles, I promise you, as God is my witness, I'll visit all 3 of your graves.